Hi everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday, and if you're new here, hi and welcome. And this is a place where we talk about some of the new releases and reissues that just came out on vinyl today, or trickled in from the last couple of weeks. So if you like to hear about new releases, I would suggest that you hit that subscribe button down below. We'd love to have you here. And I always start with the pick of the week, and there's also a list posted down below with prices. Now, just so y'all know, this week is going to be a short week. I only grabbed a handful of stuff because I got to get out of here. We're going into the weekend, and my favorite band, My Morning Jacket, they're playing in Palo Alto, and I got to get out of here and start my weekend, okay? So forgive me this week. It's just going to be a handful, but there's a mix of all kinds of different stuff. Anyway, a lot of reissues out this week, and my pick of the week is what we start with. And normally, I keep telling you guys I hate picking reissues for the pick of the week, but sometimes they're so good that, you know, they're kind of better than a lot of the stuff that just came out. Anyway, my pick for you this week, it's another reissue, but it's a good one, and it is Pavement, and it's Slanted and Enchanted, and it's on Matador. This is part of the Matador Revisionist History series. Believe it or not, it's the 30th anniversary of this record. I'm trying to get the glare off of there. It's that afternoon. I'm having a bit of a daylight problem creeping through the blinds, so I'm trying to keep the sunlight off this stuff. Anyway, they probably were, like Pavement, the most it band of the indie rock underground of the 90s. Not only did they set the groundwork for the scene as well as the slacker rock lo-fi craze, but they also made some pretty damn good songs. And the first album was Slanted and Enchanted, a record that may or may not, more often than not, indie rock, it's under that umbrella of indie rock, yeah, but it's got this dazzling energy to it that's not really unlike punk rock, you know. So this is especially true on the song Two States, in which they sound like one of my favorite bands, The Fall, and it's complete with this totally good vocal impression of Mark E. Smith, you know, who we lost now, but is absolutely one of the best. Okay, so most people who don't get this album, in my experience, they have a very rigid view of kind of what rock music is supposed to be, and they say things like they don't play in time, they don't sound like, they sound like they're cliches and they're just fooling around, and it's too loose, it's too lax, and the production is hopeless and so on. But this album is made partially as a reaction against cliches, and the long and short of it is that it's fuzzy, this low budget production. It's part of a deliberate aesthetic that they came up with, and the attitude. The 80s had seen like some awful expressive production featuring these giant big guitar solos and these, you know, sticky keyboards and anthemic power ballads and chest beating, you know, choruses and all that stuff. Slanted and Enchanted, it's a deflation of all that pretense and excess. Anyway, it's a beautiful record. It's here for you now. It's on red, white, and black splatter vinyl, and that is my pick. Okay, so again, let's just get through this quick little pile of stuff we have here for you. This is Aaliyah. Sorry. It's One in a Million. This is on Black Ground Through Atlantic. So sorry about that glare, you guys. You know, this is what happens when I film in the daytime, right? Anyway, One in a Million. It's the second album by this American singer, Aaliyah. She passed away in, I think, 2002, a car accident in the Bahamas, if you remember that. Anyway, this album was originally released in 1996. It's the 25th anniversary edition of this. It's a reissue. It expands on the smooth grooves of her massively successful debut album, which was called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and it shows that all the life experiences haven't gone to waste. The production and songwriting talents of Timbaland and rapper Missy Elliott give the songs on One in a Million a very seductive edge with these laid-back grooves and a cool hip-hop licks. But what really makes this album rise above is the full-grown singer at the controls. You know, Aaliyah, she was under the thumb of R. Kelly for a while, and this is where she kind of comes into her own. And on the title track, she casts a real cool spell with these layered voices and smoky delivery. It's really, you know, something different. I have to do something about that sunbeam. With the assistance of Slick Rick, she turns Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up into this funky hip-hop jam for the end of the millennium. And while 4-page letter, the album, one of the album's high points. It's intricately detailing the end of a love affair. An artist twice her age can only hope to create a work like with such clarity and resonance. And so for the first time on vinyl since 1996, there's been, believe it or not, 8 million copies of this sold worldwide. There you go. And now we have Bad Brains, Rock for Light, and this is that Punk Note edition. Now that was that part of that series. They're making these covers like the old Blue Note covers, but it's called Punk Note, and they're complete alternative covers here. But anyway, this is the second full-length album from hardcore punk pioneers Bad Brains, released in 1983 originally. It was produced by Rick Ocasek of The Cars, and it's presented here is the original mix of the album for the first time in decades, as the band originally intended. Now, most fans will be more familiar with the 1991 reissue, which was remixed by Ocasek and the bass player Daryl Jenfer, and that version used an alternate track order, significantly different mixes, and a speed increase with the master, which results in raising of the pitch by 1/2 step. This reissue, it marks the fourth release of the remaster campaign that they've got going on relaunching the Bad Brains label imprint. In cooperation and coordination with the band, Org Music has overseen the restoration and remastering of these iconic Bad Brains recordings, and this limited Punk Note edition comes with alternate packaging, artwork from the designer John Yates on special color pressing. I believe it is translucent yellow. The artwork is a nod to Reed Miles and Francis Wolff and their amazing work at the Blue Note label. This pressing is limited to, I think, 1,000 copies, I want to say. Let me double check. Yeah, 1,000. So anyway, it doesn't have any indication of the color. It just, does it even, I think it just says colored edition, but the only thing I could find was like translucent yellow pictures online, and only very few of those. So I hope I'm right with that. But anyway, great looking cover here for you now. All right, next up, this is Brockhampton, and this is Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine, and this is on RCA Records. Now, Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine, it's a new album here that features guest appearances by Danny Brown, A$AP Rocky, A$AP Ferg, Charlie Wilson, and JPEG Mafia, next to newcomers like Baird and fellow Corpus Christi rapper So Gone So Flexy. So following the commercial success of 2019's Ginger album, Brockhampton, their lives were knocked off the tracks as the world shut down for the COVID pandemic. The album, its tone reflects the highs and lows of that period, from both tragic and celebratory, built around recurring theme of finding the light in your life. And as such, Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine, it's equal parts, kind of bravado and empathy. For once wide-eyed boy band, they return from being much more self-aware and self-assured than ever before. So this is on white vinyl, and I think it's got some bonus tracks on it here too. It's not real clear from the back, I'm just reading, but I think that all the tracks are around the circle. It's a double, and I think these are bonus tracks there. But anyway, Brockhampton. Okay, and next up. Okay, this is Danger Mouse and Black Thought. This is called Cheat Codes, and this is on BMG Rights Management. The debut full-length release for the collaboration between the Roots is Black Thought and Danger Mouse. It features guest appearances from A$AP Rocky, he's busy, huh? Dylan Cartledge, Conway and the Machine, Joey Badass, Kid Sister, Michael Kiwanuka, MF Doom, Rakiwan, Run the Jewels, and Russ. And it's evident that the producer-rapper duo complement each other's work, and by featuring other artists, they actually are elevating the other rappers around them. And because of this, Cheat Code, it isn't just an album for old hip hop heads. It's like a timeless record that celebrates all artists. And this is limited edition red vinyl. And yeah, I think that's a very cool piece. Okay, and also, nowhere does it say red vinyl. I'm just telling you that it is because it is. But yeah, there's this pile this week. Sadly, nobody is putting stickers to indicate color. So, oh my gosh, you know how that gets to me, you guys. All right, this is Danny Elfman, Bigger, Messier, and this is on Epitaph Anti Records. It's a brand new genre-defying album, remixed and reimagined versions of songs from his acclaimed 2021 record that was called Big Mess. This one is comprised of collaborations and guest vocals featured from a sprawling array of artists that include people like, these are some heavyweights that are on here, people like Trent Reznor, Iggy Pop, Health, Caitlin Aurelia Smith, Zach Hill of Death Grips, Juju, Square Pusher, Ghost Domain, and many, many more. Anyway, it's a 21-track project that brings the songs of Big Mess to life in a completely new light while making the first time Elfman has ever released a remix collection of his work on this scale. Now this is double, 2 LPs, and it's on orange and white vinyl. So I don't know if that's like orange and white on the same discs or if one is white and one is orange. Again, there is no indication on the record to say one way or another. Makes me crazy. But orange and white it is. Okay, next up. This is Fits in the Tantrums, Picking Up the Pieces, and this is on Danger Bird Records. This is the debut studio album from the American band Fits in the Tantrums. It was originally released in 2010. After the success of their home recorded debut EP, Songs for a Breakup Volume 1, and touring, Danger Bird signed the group, who immediately began to work on Picking Up the Pieces. Los Angeles band, they're led by Michael Fitzpatrick, and they go for like 1960s soul on their debut record here. So if you're a Stax and Motown enthusiast, you'll love what these revivalists what they're doing. Apparently, their guy, Michael Fitzpatrick, he's a fan of ABC and the Style Council. And based on this album he based this on that early 80s sort of white boy funk output that ABC and Style Council were kind of doing. But there's not any like postmodernism on this. Rather, it's a feast for 60s and 70s soul references. They're both lyrical and musical, and they're so cleverly woven into these songs that you sometimes have to, kind of pinch yourself to not think you're listening to the real thing. It's pretty authentic sounding. So this is on white vinyl, and that's here for us now. Next up, we have Ghost Woman. This is self-titled. This is on Full-Time Hobby. So Ghost Woman's blissfully hypnotic world is a creation of melodic maniac Evan John Ushendo. And beating the odds of life, as he's a busy touring musician, he was like salvaging and replacing his instruments from like a burned down rehearsal space, van break-ins, a lot of relocation. He's transformed his lifelong habit of homespun sonic exploration to a sensory mix and match experience destined for the main stage. So with his self-titled album here, he gives us 10 tracks of like laid back psychedelic bliss, taking Ghost Woman sound out of the raw garage rock of his debut single into something more kaleidoscopic. Evan's sonic and literal adventures as a touring multi-instrumentalist with songwriter, producer, guitarist Michael Rolt saw him share international stages with people like Jocko Gardner, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and the Mild High Club, who unwittingly paved the way for Ghost Woman's inevitable incarnation. So this is what they're calling first edition black vinyl, okay? Okay, next up we have Dro Kenji, With or Without You. This is on 10,000 Projects, and he's a real tireless worker who wears his heart on his sleeve. This guy, his tragedies and triumphs in bursts of soaring melody on With or Without You. It features 15 emotionally charged tracks. With or Without You is being released on vinyl for the first time. Dro Kanji is one of the most promising artists of the underground trap scene, and he's very close to hitting the mainstream until he finds a unique sound. Like, that's kind of one of the things that people who have downloaded his work in the past kind of say he's so great, but he doesn't really veer off his path. He doesn't really experiment that much. You know what you're going to get, and people like it. He's, like I said, very, very promising, and he's on the scene. But that's the one complaint that you hear, is that people would like him to stretch a little bit more. Anyway, this is on kind of an orchid purple vinyl. It's not really translucent, and it's not really opaque. It's like a little bit see-through, but kind of cloudy. But it's that orchid purple color. All right, this is Marietta. It's called Summer Death, and this is on the Near Mint label. This was a debut for them in 2013, and it's successful because it combines the brashness of 2010's Philly emo scene with the expansive song structures that were created by the genre's 90s yesterdays, just originally released via Soft Speak Records. Near Mint is very excited to present this fully remastered gatefold reissue. So this is a Philadelphia band. I think they're a duo, but they are emo pop punk. They're just like, broken, bruised, very honest, and going to tell you all about it. That's the way their lyrics go. Brings to mind people like Taking Back Sunday and the early November, bands like that. They waste no time in getting to the point of how they really feel. Let's say that. They provide such a nice synthesis between emo's mathier, more reflective side and the punk passion of its origins. So it's an interesting listen, and it's back on in print again, and it's on crystal clear vinyl, which is, I guess, an exclusive limited edition color. Okay. Now this one is Terrace Martin, and it's called Drones. This is BMG Rights Management, and Terrace Martin is a LA producer and saxophonist, and over time he's developed into somewhat of a prolific musician, releasing projects kind of all the time. His latest here, Drones, is a star-studded affair and a fantastic fusion of rap, R&B, and jazz. And it has, having worked with the likes of Kendrick Lamar, he contributed to almost every track on, is it To Kill a Butterfly? Yeah, Kendrick Lamar's there. So they've been working together for a long time. Kamasi Washington, Stevie Wonder, people like that. Okay, all right, sorry, did I say Kill a Butterfly? I'm thinking To Kill a Mockingbird. No, To Pimp a Butterfly. Sorry about that. Anyway, he's become one of the most in-demand producers and musicians in the California music scene. It's on this record, he brings his skill and talent to the forefront. With his very capable guest musicians, people like Snoop Dogg, Leon Bridges, Kendrick Lamar, Kamasi Washington, and Robert Glasper. They all appear on this record, and they all contribute in their own unique way to make the tracks what they are. So this comes on red vinyl, and there's no indication of that anywhere on it. You just have to believe me, it's on red vinyl. And then we have Moby. Everything is Wrong, and this is on the DEF label. Everything is Wrong is the third studio album by Moby, originally released in 1985. Now, with the release of Everything is Wrong, Moby produced, he procured an entry into the major label circuit. This was kind of what put him on the map. Covering many techno genres, the album shows Moby's desire to be all things at once, flaunting breakbeats, noisy industrialism, acid trance, ambient textures, and technopop in the mix. It's often kind of hard to grasp, though. Although it speaks of his versatility, the liner notes should kind of contain a disclaimer warning you about these, mood swings, I think, and his lack of focus that kind of demonstrates that, you don't have to be all things all the time. It's kind of equally wrong to try to tackle everything all at once. So it's a little bit of a confusing record, but it's back in print now, and it's on limited blue vinyl on this pressing. So Yeah, it's here. All right, you guys, that is it. Short and sweet this week. I'm going to post the list down below with the prices, and hopefully next week there will be some meatier things. I know there's that, I believe that double Madonna Greatest Hits is coming out next week, and I'm not sure what else. But anyway, there should be more to talk about. I just kind of wanted to give you a little glance of some of the things that came out today, and I will see you next week. Bye.